Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts and the deep dive on a Stork. We're going to be checking out a game from Stork here on Metropolis, going up against True here in the bottom left. True really a rising star right now within the StarCraft 1 scene. He won ACS 2 seasons ago, made it back into ASL again. His results have actually been pretty decent. Sulky's defeat this season was partially due to True, who gave Barracks the build order that ended up defeating him, although Com helped to rein that build order in. But yeah, True is making a mark on the scene right now. You know, he's I wouldn't put him down as a top pro, but like he's on his way. He's on his way. He's building up to it. So should be a tough one for Stork, I think. You know, obviously Stork is a better PvT and a PvP player than he is at PvZ, but honestly, I've seen some very good Stork Protoss for Zerg lately. Who was it that I saw him beat the other day? I saw him beat someone in a online match it was a really good game. Actually, on this map, like an excellent PvZ from Stork. It was one of the top guys. It might have been Sulky or Summer Queen. I actually can't quite remember, or maybe it was even Jaedong. One of those very top, like 5-ish Zergs. But yeah, Stork, you know, we'll see how it's going to look. True, in general, is a bit more aggressive than other Zergs. And he has a very specific style. He generally stays on Hydra Muta all game. It's pretty rare to see him go Hive against Protoss. And, like, it's not that he never goes Lurker, but he really does prefer Hydra Muta. He oftentimes opens up with a Hydra pressure to make sure obviously that does a lot of things, like maybe it kills the Protoss if they're caught off guard or something. But one of the main things it does for his continuation of the strategy is it slows down or stops completely Corsair production. So then he's able to get into, Mutalisks and pick off High Templars, and that's kind of the way he plays. It's kind of tempo-oriented, kind of aggressive, which has always been the style that True has played in StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, when he was quite a strong pro in StarCraft 2 in the old days. Okay, so this is an overpool, Forlings made cross-spawn. Stork has gone Gateway Expansion, and is playing it pretty defensively. Zealot on the ramp. Nexus going up at the natural there. Lings don't look overly concerned with getting across the map right now. And yeah, Stork actually throwing down a third pylon right there. It's kind of an interesting third pylon. I feel like he wants to put something here. Well, I guess also, now that I think about it and what I just said about True does Hydra Bust so often. This is going to be useful anyways, but I don't know that he knows that this is true because they're actually both playing on barcodes in this particular game. But yeah, that's ooh, it just gets it up there in time. That's going to be very important because this pylon can be picked off easily, so this one will power the cannons in that area. Okay, looking back at True's base. Third hatchery is up. Zergling speed on the way, not an uncommon thing to see from True, even when he's going for a Hydra Bust. Gets Zergling speed very often with that. Probe from Stork trying to come up for the scout, and he's going to actually see a layer. Now, True has been known to cancel a layer from time to time. I don't think that will be the case here, because he doesn't have enough Zerglings to chase this away to cancel this in time to make it make sense. Stork can probably pretty much see that finish based on where the Zerglings are. Little bit of poking at the front. Forge up in the main. And there's his start gate. I'm kind of interested to see, because it's like, it is actually pretty rare that I see True go for layer this quickly. He really does mostly go for like a 3-hatch Hydra opener. He's very good at macroing out of it, so it's not like he's just like a cheesy all-inner or something. It's like pretty damn valid strat. But yeah, just going up regularly into layer. I would imagine he's going to go Spire with this. But he's not going to be able to control the Corsair count that well. Like, maybe you are, but Ooh, Hydralis Den, but no Spire. Interesting. So this is another way you can get the Corsairs to basically stop, is the Corsairs will fly across, see like, oh, there's not a Spire, so we don't need to be made. Citadel coming up. Macro hatches, of course, as well. Hydralis speed. Additional gateway there at the natural. Really cute building placement, actually. Really using all the nooks and crannies. Like a Thomas's English muffin. Filled with Corsair butter. Now, the Corsair is going to get this Overlord, right? The Hydras are going to mostly defend the rest of them, but it's kind of a... Like, it's not that we haven't seen this. Normally, if you're going to play a macro approach like this, though, you would already have Overlord speed on the way, which we don't really see. I think we're going to have to see it, though. Like, you can't play games like this without Overlord speed. Like, one DT will dominate the map. So Stork going to go ahead and be able to pick off another Overlord. He actually does have +1 air weapons on the way, despite the fact that there is not a Spire coming up. The Spire did just get started, though. Range attack as well as Hydralis range coming up. It's a weird-looking game right now. Huh. Okay, there's the Overlord speed. Because, like, I don't feel like he can even put pressure on. Like, True's just kind of sitting there making some Hydras. Maybe he just wants to move out with, like, a big group all at once. But Stork right now, coming across the map with these Zealots. Legs and +1 are both just about to finish. So definitely going to have some potential with these for some damage. All right, let's see what Stork gets done. Pretty good SimCity there, so decides to turn around. Yeah, that's a pretty good SimCity too. Doesn't look like there's any real great places to attack right now, but just poking in and pressuring is all right. So, still letting +1 air weapons finish. Sorry, I'm kind of going quiet here. I'm like watching the game, just kind of thinking about it, and like it's a more weird look. I've seen so many PVZs lately, and it's just kind of a more weird looking one. Now, look, he is actually making the Mutalisks now, so he's going to go into Hydra Muta just in a very different way than what he normally does. Maybe this is True trying to test out a different way, so he's a little bit less predictable. But this doesn't. I don't know, it doesn't feel like he's got any sort, like there's no tempo advantage or anything like that. Like he hasn't tried to really get an advantage yet. It's mostly been about optimizations, but his drone count isn't even really that high, right? 35. Of course, there's C mutas being made, so, you know, Stork is going to be ready for that, basically. Extra cannon on the way. I'm sure that Stork will start his Dragoon range relatively soon. Extra few cannons here to block the mutas from flying in. And another Corsair did just get made. We'll see. Oh, and he's actually back into Corsair production. That is very good here, I think. That's probably key to winning this game. It's making sure that you get enough Corsairs out that the mutas can't just bully your High Templars nonstop. Little group of Hydras over here getting surrounded a little bit from Stork's Zealots that are still running around the map. I do like that Stork hasn't wasted his Zealots as of yet. He's kind of just run them around, check things, and run away most of the time. In fact, if these mutas come up, he just lets a few of them stay and get picked off. Runs away with the rest. Another little pressure coming up into this third base. Yeah, getting an okay trade here. Forcing those back. Muta's coming down to deal with it. 8 gates at the moment. Dragoon range is coming up. All right, gonna pick a few drones off, so that's nice. Third base coming up here for Stork. And I can't see this getting knocked out, really. Like, he's got so many storms right now. He's got 8 storms available. The group of mutas, like, it's meant to pick off storms, but there's enough Corsairs here to kind of push it back. I don't think he can come up this ramp. I don't think he can attack here. He actually... Okay, so this is funny. He just lost all of his Corsairs, but basically decimated the mutas. There's a few left. You watch now. True will make another group of mutas. 10 mutas. See? This is why it's important to know who you're casting or playing against or whatever. And also part of why people use barcodes. The thing is, in a tournament setting, you're never going to be on a barcode. Everyone's going to know it's you, True. And you just killed my Corsairs and lost all your mutas, so I know you have another group of mutas on the way. All right, let's see if this group of mutas is able to pick off enough Psy Storms that the Hydras can actually overwhelm the army. Because the Hydras against just the army win. But with the Psy Storms, Stork wins easily. So it all comes down to this. Full group of mutas. Here we go. Picks 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this should just be a true victory. Stork is going to lose all of these units. Well, if he actually brings the rest of his units to fight. We actually have a huge group of 8 Hydras here that have not fought at all during this. This is a big mistake from True. That is a big mistake. He just left like a third of his army and did not utilize it at all. That should have been a rout. And in fact, he still will break all this, but he lost his Hydralisk Den during this, so he's having to make Zerglings right now, which are not going to fare well. Does have a Lurker. Kind of funny. Still, he holds that all off. Stork's supply plummeting pretty badly. Down below 100 right now. 4th base up for True. Send some Hydras over. Another group of mutas. Yeah, I really... Sorry, I keep going quiet. I'm, like, kind of doing math in my head, right? Like, I'm watching, like, the growth of what Zerg is making, and I'm imagining at the same time the growth of, like, what Protoss is making, the scaling of the High Templars, how, as the army gets bigger, you're going to hit the storms and everything. And, like, right now, to me, it really looks like True is very, very, very likely to win this. Now, the way that I can see that going wrong, like, he has a few Lurkers now. It looks like he's mostly using them defensively. But the way that it could really go wrong is if he continues to fight with just Hydra Muta, which he does very, very often, like I pointed out, and the Mutas don't get the good connections, we could still see Stork take a really, really good battle and be able to start clearing some hatcheries. So that's kind of, like, in my opinion, the win condition here for Stork is that he's basically engaging like Hydra Muta and getting good storms off. That's like really what the mutas are all about, is denying that storm. So right now he's attacking up here. There are some lurkers. He has observers, and I don't think there's enough anti-air here to really shut those down. Just the right amount of Zealot Goon. And you can see it's like the lurker count is not really that high, so they're not that impactful. In the meantime, there is a little counterattack onto the actual rally point here of Protoss. Stork going to be able to break this down. Kind of a funny counterattack. Stork, I think, is doing much better right here than True. Like, he's going to kill this base that has so many drones. It had basically all of the lurkers in the game. A couple of hatches up here can be cleared pretty easily. Not looking really very good for True anymore. Well, actually, if he gets this Nexus, we're actually getting into a really, really messy game now. Lurker goes up to that high ground. Stork going to get out of here. I think he really should focus on getting rid of those 2 hatches. Or maybe he's just going to try to win the game right now since he lost his economy. Okay, True comes back. And he definitely gets some good storms here for sure. More Dragoons coming down. That is a lot of Dragoons, actually. I didn't realize that many had come down. That is a pretty decent army. Still a lot of Hydras coming up to fight. And does he have Storm? No Storm there. 1-2 against 2-2. So slightly better upgrades here. And obviously the upgrades scale a bit better for the Hydras as well. All right, has a Psy Storm here. That was a good storm, no doubt. Another great storm comes down. Really getting efficient here with these storms. Probably needs to clear here, though. These top 2 left bases. All right, group of Zealots being sent in. Those actually are enough to clear it. The Lurkers can obviously make a little bit of a stink, but 2 Hydras not going to hold off even damaged Zealots. Meantime, another engagement in the center of the map here. No Psystorm available, unfortunately, but an overwhelming army from Stork. Just enough Zealots and an Archon here to tank while the Dragoons deal this additional damage. More Hydras coming up, though. This time he's going to have some storms. Very small Protoss army remains. Did end up getting this hatchery, but top left is up. New base coming down for True as well. Just more small groups of Hydras kind of coming out on the map and trying to be microed here against this army of Protoss. 2-2 upgrades finish up. Lots of drones being transferred over to that remade 4th base location. Good defensive setup here. Somehow this turned into for that main base. Stork finishing up this Nexus finally, but that is basically all the mining he has. So he's going to be on 1 base mining against like 1, 2, 3, 4... 5. Obviously, they're not going to last forever, but 1 base against 5 base. I mean, we've seen the writing on the wall for a while here, and it looks like he should be able to pretty easily clear this base. But at the end of the day, like, the economy of Stork is still very weak at the moment. DT being sent out to that top left. I don't believe there's... Oh, no, there's one Overlord, but he might be able to just sneak under that. Clears the Hydras that were up here. Very wasteful game in a lot of ways. Still higher supply here for True. Just another group of Hydras going to the center. I feel like it's deja vu. It's Groundhog's Day here. Groundhog's fight in the center of the map. Bunch of Hydras against, like, Dragoons and whatever else Stork happens to have at the moment. Decent splitting there from True. So I think we're basically just at the end right now. I will say, like, right, both these guys are obviously very good. They're both consistently making ASL. Not the best Protoss vs. Zerg that we've seen, or Zerg vs. Protoss that we've seen. Kind of a weird way that True went about it, but it ended up working out for him. Kind of a little bit of a weird decision, that counterattack, as opposed to maybe trying to hold this base, but... yeah, I guess he did end up getting that Nexus. Not, like, right away, but did end up getting the Nexus, and he did end up winning, so... I guess we'll give credit where credit is due. Stork probably making his final stand at this point. The amount of Hydras coming up from every single angle is kind of insane. There's no way he's going to have enough Storm to deal with all this. Yeah, the Hydras come up, and that's going to be game. GG. True takes down Stork.